Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Appreciate y'all being here this fine Wednesday for the first Women's Empowerment Panel titled Unchained Voices. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here with us. For those who don't know me, my name is Bobby Brito Oliveira, double alum of this university through the Talent Development Program, classes of shout out to TD Nation. TD Nation in there? Hopefully this is the first of many of these events. This event's purpose is to focus on and centralize the voice of the women of our community, particularly our four panelists, each of them who I hold near and dear to my heart. And my only role here today is to introduce our amazing facilitator, who I am honored to call a coworker. Victoria Andre Fonseca is the coordinator of the Multicultural Student Services Center. She's a recent 2024 graduate of the College Student Personnel Program, also known as CSP. CSP in here? Yeah. During her graduate assistantship in enrollment services in the Women's Center, that's what she said, her graduate assistantship. In the spring of 2022, Victoria graduated from Bryant University with a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology with minors in Africana Studies and Human Resource Management. While at Bryant, she discovered her passion for working in higher education and creating spaces for underrepresented youth, and through her work at the Center for Diversity and Inclusion. Now, before she comes up, I want to say to all the young ladies in this room right now, and even the young men, this young lady right here is remarkable. She is an amazing colleague. She goes above and beyond every single day. I applaud her. I praise her. She's a breath of fresh air here, and I appreciate it. It's my honor to ask you to serve in this capacity, and I am glad you accepted this honor. So, Victoria, if you don't mind coming up.
Hi, everyone. So again, my name is Victoria Andre Fonseca, and I'm the coordinator here in the Multicultural Student Services Center. And I want to first invite up Mina Monroe, class of 2027, who is the president of the Native American Student Organization, who will be delivering our land acknowledgement.
Hi, everyone. How are we doing today? The University of Rhode Island occupies the traditional stomping grounds of the Narragansett Nation and the Niantic people. We honor and respect the enduring and continuing relationship between the indigenous people and this land by teaching and learning more about their history and present-day communities, and by becoming stewards of the land we too inhabit. Thank you.
Thank you, Mina. I would now like to invite President Parlange up to say a few words.
Thank you. So good to see all of you here. I want to thank everybody for organizing this special day. Bobby, you always do a wonderful job, so thank you. And really all the teams from the Multicultural Student Center, thank you. Pink Women. You're here? Yeah. Black and brown women in engineering, science, and technology. Yeah. The Gender and Sexuality Center. And the Women's Center. I know Mary wanted to be here. There's actually another event going on with United Way, so I know a number of folks that would like to be here are there today. And Bobby, I think this is good. I've learned that if you do it twice, it becomes a tradition at URI, so just one more time and then it'll be a tradition. So it is really, at this time, I have to say it's so important to recognize, celebrate, and honor the many intersecting, identities of our community, faculty, staff, students, and alumni. So I want to thank all our alums who are here today to speak with us. It's really important that there is a true sense. We're one university, that we have this true sense of belonging, and community is so important in that way. And so we're also having, by the way, a town hall Thursday of next week. So if you can join, it's conversation. Lots of people are concerned about things, and it's just so important that we connect and share things, because you can learn obviously a lot from your friends, and then you have a lot to share with other people. So that's so important. I'm really happy also to welcome the alumni who are here today and, are sharing their stories. And so we have people from all different areas, high-level executives in healthcare, nonprofit, alongside education, and just great. A lot of hard work, a lot of years of hard work, a lot of years of experience, and I'm really grateful to all of you for coming back to share with us. Today and every day, we really need to celebrate the lasting contributions and impact of women who have really broken down barriers and have led us towards equity, justice, and belonging. And I have to say, over the years that, now 4 years here, student organizations like Pink Women, BBUS, and every group on campus provides a home for our students. And I think that that is one thing that is special as we talk about prospective students for next year deciding where to come. They can always find their group, and you are really a welcoming group. So that is so important. I also want to thank you for the giving the land acknowledgement. I appreciate that. So that's so important. So with that, I want to wish you all the very best. I actually have to go to Switzerland now, but I'm going to do it by Zoom. And a very close friend of mine is retiring formally, and I'm supposed to speak in French now briefly. So, but have a very good day, and thanks to everybody.
Thank you, President Parlange, for those words. So we will get into our formal program today. I want to again say thank you to Bobby for asking me to serve in this capacity today. It's truly an honor, especially for the first Women's Empowerment panel that we're having here in the MSSC, so it's truly an honor. Before that, I just wanted to say some special thanks to our collaborating organizations, BB West and Pink. We can give their hands. To our collaborating departments, the Office of Community Equity and Diversity, the President's Office, the Women's Center, and the Gender and Sexuality Center. A big shout out to URI's Information and Technology Services Center, especially James Zong, who's in the corner over there live streaming for us. And probably the biggest shout out to our caterer, Gigi Southern Cuisine, who will be providing lunch for us today. I'm really looking forward to hearing our panel today, and I hope you all are too. I feel like I've been in spaces with these women on the panel today, but never heard a lot of their stories, so I'm really looking forward to that, and I hope you all are too. I'd like to introduce our poem reader today, who is Yanae Jabru from the class of 2027, and she will be reading an original poem, and she is also a member of Pink Women.
Hi everyone, I'm very honored to be here. My name is Yanae Jabru. Today I wrote an original piece about some things I wish I could say to my younger self as she navigated through life and trying to live up to the expectations society placed on women and how she grew up thinking what a woman meant. I hope you enjoy. This is Dear Little Me. Dear Little Me, from the day the doctor pronounced you a girl and your mother felt your curls, the world had already set their expectations for you. You're supposed to like the color pink and not blue. You should be playing house, not kicking around a ball. You're supposed to stand out, but not too tall. You're pushed to be a veterinarian or a teacher, not a CEO or an engineer. Society will always try to tell you which path you should follow. You will constantly be facing battles, picking between what you've been taught is right and what will make you feel less hollow. So listen to me when I say, do not be afraid to be you. Do not be afraid to step away from those who do not truly value your presence, your mind, and your voice. Because those are the tools that you will need to fight the oppression that society has decided to put on women to keep them from succession. So like the color blue. Be the only woman to speak up in a conference room. Play every sport. Put up your curls and show them what it really means to run like a girl. Stand out in the crowd and make the world know your name. But most of all, do not give society the privilege of keeping women tame. So dear little me, society may have put their expectations on you, but you have the ability to choose whether or not they become true. Love the woman you'll soon grow to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Yanae, for that beautiful poem. Can we give another round of applause? Okay, I just want to give a quick shout out to Aganza, who will be doing a live painting during our event today. She's going to do it during the event, so we can just give a round of applause for her being here. So we will begin going into our lunch portion. Tamika, do you need a little bit more time, or are we all set? 2 more minutes, okay. Okay, cool. Would you just want to share out a couple of the options for today, just so?
Yes, so today we have, again, vegan options on the small cans of the yams and cabbage, so we could hold off on that for the people who don't eat meat. But we have fried chicken, wings, legs, and thighs. We have fried catfish, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, yams, cabbage, cornbread. That was it. And we have sweet tea, eliminated, and I brought assorted sodas. So everybody likes like the half and half. I recommend you guys try it. Half sweet tea, half lemonade. Seems to be really popular at the restaurant. So if you get a chance to try it, let me know if you like it. But you're ready.
Thank you. So I will begin calling up tables in a couple minutes to start up with food. I'll start with our panelists. I just wanted to start off with saying if you could scan this QR code for our event feedback and complete it after the conclusion of the event, that would be great, just so we can continue putting on events like this at the MSSC. So it's important we get your feedback. Thank you. Yeah.
Since she said she has like limited amounts for the vegetarian, do you want to send those people up first before you send the table?
For which?
For the people that are vegetarian or vegan, we want to send them up first since they have a dietary restriction.
Don't let it go. I need to be prepared.
Since there are limited options for the vegetarian and vegan options, if you are vegetarian or vegan, do you want to get in line for the food first?
I can send it to you. I can send it to you.
Can you send it to Winston too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a good one now.
Can you send it to Winston also?
Yeah. Now?
Well, yeah, let's say I want this on.
Yeah. That and that's how
I Thank you.
That was for mom.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm expecting a good turn. Did the numbers boost? I don't know. Did they boost after? Okay. Yeah. Then. We got 3 Bond brothers right there. Another Bond brother right there. We can say like over here or something. Yo, Malik. Malik. Y'all ain't my niggas eat, bro. She don't. You're back? Yeah, let's take a picture. Oh, yeah, bro. You should let that match. Oh, bottom plug at
Oh, yeah, nice. Very nice. I'm excited. Well played.
Don't give him that. See that? That line? That line's crazy. Yo, David, can you get a fork? Can you get this lovely young lady a fork, please? Can you please get this lovely young lady a fork? That's not word. Bring her some more food, actually. That's her mid. That's the least you can do. That's the least you can do. David, get a napkin, too. Napkin. He's not serious. Matter of fact, you see her. Got a cornbread like that, too. We're looking better than. Say, I'll give you a picture cut right now. Oh my God, bro. You're not going to go with that one hard. I just ate.
trying to pay no. And I stayed all 4 years. I was like, unless you're on the tuition.
Thank you.
No, you can get the smartphone quicker from your house than she doesn't even like people like that. No, I'm talking about your daughter. She doesn't like people like that. So let's do this. If you leave by this time, you're getting 90% of your money back. I'm trying to figure out what's happening. I'm looking. No more. That's not no
Hello, everyone. So we're about to get started for the panel portion. So if you all could take your seats, then we can get started. So we will be having a very special moderator for this panel discussion. I would like to introduce Anna Barraza. So Anna Barraza is currently the director of our university's Women's Center. A double alumna, she was admitted through the Talent Development Program and was a member of the Black Student Leadership Group. She earned her bachelor's degree in English literature with a concentration in African American literature from URI in 1994, and her master's of science degree in human development and family studies with a concentration in college student personnel, in 2004 from URI as well. Anna has been an active alumni, and her 20 years of working in higher education has served in multiple capacities at the university, teaching in the Center for Student Leadership Development as an adjunct for the Talent Development Summer Program, as well as the College Student Personnel Program. Anna also serves on the Human Relations Committee for the City of Providence, is a former board member of the Paul Cuffey School and Nostro Mundo Public Charter School, both in Providence, Rhode Island. She enjoys spending time with her nieces and nephew and traveling. Anna is a longtime member of the Theta Xi Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Psi Sorority Incorporated. Alpha Kappa Alpha. Please don't come for me. I'm sorry. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Rhode Island chapter, and is a member of the Equity Leaders Initiative Cohort 1 through the RI Foundation. Anna is involved in many civic and community programs in the greater Providence area. Please welcome Anna Barraza. And I'm so sorry. Don't kill me.
It's coming, Victoria. Don't you just wait. It's coming. I am so grateful to be here today. Those of you that might be coming in and need a place to sit, you could take up that table that we were just at. We'll be here for the rest of the afternoon. I'm so grateful to be here today, and I'm grateful to Bobby and Victoria for putting this program together and asking the Women's Center to participate and be a partner in this. Having been here through the various iterations of the Women's Center, it gives me great pride to be here now as a professional and serving in this capacity to help reestablish the strength of the Women's Center and give women and female-identifying students a place where they feel safe and they find peace. The Women's Center is not just for women, though, but the resources that we have are for all of you, and we hope that you, at some point, do come visit us. So thank you all for inviting me here today to facilitate this empowering panel of amazing women. When I saw the names on the list, it's interesting because I think Carla is the only person that I don't personally know, but I knew of her. And when I saw who this year's panel was, I was like, wow, this is a powerhouse. You all are so fortunate. So I'm going to allow them 1 minute, Cara Oliveira, to introduce themselves to you. And I'm going to ask that you please provide us with your name and position title. And then I think she gave you my cheat sheet here. Gave away my paper. Someone has writing on the back of their paper. Nope. It's MIA. Oh, here it is. 1-minute introduction, name, current role, campus, community involvement, and a fun fact, if you will. Okay, we'll start with Carol Oliveira.
I can do it in 30 seconds.
Let's see, and go.
So my name is Dr. Caroline Oliveira. I serve as the chief. Oh. Mic check.
Is it on?
I know. We'll restart the clock.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
It says like.
Well, this one's on.
Okay.
Okay.
James is gonna check that. There we go. Dr. Oliveira, your time.
So again, my name is Dr. Caroline Oliveira. I serve as the Chief Officer for Clinical Excellence at the Moses Weitzman Health System located in Connecticut. We are the largest community health system in the state, and I am part of the leadership team there. I've been there about 4 years. While I was at URI, I had to write it down, and I was busy. I was a member of Uhuru Sasa. I was a member of the Black Student Leadership Group. I was a member of Cape Verdean Student Association. It's one of the founding members of that organization, very proud of that. And I am a CSP alum and an HDF alum. So, fun fact about me, I don't really have everything about me is fun, but I do want to just say my one thought is that I'm looking over at you, Yune. You brought me to tears. Your poem and your poetry honestly brought me to tears because, as you'll hear from us, the fight has been long and hard and it's not over, but you inspire me, and I'm thankful that to be in this space with you.
Hello. Hi. All right, my microphone works. My name is Carla Vigil, and I serve as the co-founder and chief executive officer of Equity Institute. And we are a nonprofit based in Providence, and we do a lot of things, but just to keep it short, we basically help develop teachers. We get more black and brown teachers into the classrooms. Let's see, I graduated from URI in 2003. I was not part of any group because I was a young mom. So at 19, I had my first child. So I was commuting on campus and then going to the campus in Providence. But graduated with my child in my hand, in my arms. Fun fact, I don't know, y'all. I mean, I like to think I'm a fun person. I'm definitely fun. But then you ask me, and I'm like, how am I fun? I will say that I had a time in Atlanta that actually changed my life, and I did a lot of event marketing there, and so I met a lot of people, and one of my favorite stories is meeting Spike Lee, and he kind of like woke me up a little bit when I was there, and it was just one question: what are you doing here? And I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here?
Hey, y'all. Dr. Shonda Womack. I'm the founder and executive director of Arise. We're an education justice organization in Providence, and we basically combine youth leadership development with community organizing to fight for ed justice. And a huge shout out to our youth activists who are at URI, John Angel, Gurley, who had to leave, Akela. So our young people are on this campus. Community. I was working 24/7, y'all. I was the Safe Ride driver. Is Safe Ride still popping off here? Okay. So I was like a full-time, I did live on campus. I was a full-time student, and then I would work 30 hours a week because, I had to, that's came from the south side of Providence. A fun fact is I grew up walking to we were latchkey kids. So that's like my generation, about to be 45, latchkey kids. So we let ourselves in. My parents were working. But my brother and my sister and I would survive off of the 50-cent pickles and the hot fries. Yes. So a fun fact is I'm still addicted to hot fries. I know it's bad.
I don't know why you. I'm not judging. I'm listening. We listen and we don't judge. So I am Michelle Rosa Martins. I'm Dr. Michelle Rosa Martins. That's odd. I'm not used to saying that because if I say that at Women and Infants, people want to have babies in front of me, and I don't do that. So I'm Michelle. I work at Women and Infants Hospital. I'm the director of patient experience there. I oversee a department essentially that is everything non-clinical. So if you think about language and interpreters, spiritual care, chaplain support, community engagement, volunteer. So if you went to the Build event, one of my staff members was here promoting volunteerism at the hospital, so getting exposure. So essentially we say in my department, anything that's non-clinical, you can call us and we'll help you figure it out. I have in my former life, which seems so strange being in this building, I was in higher education as well. So I used to basically run a multicultural center at Holy Cross in Massachusetts. So this is very familiar. While I was on campus, I like to think I was part of the social club, if you will. I went to everything. But my friends and I founded Pink Women on campus. And so I think this conversation comes full circle in some ways, although as Carol mentioned, it's a never-ending battle. That the reason why we came together and started to create space on campus is because in a bunch of our identities, the intersectionality wasn't present. And so when we formed Pink, it was to save ourselves from a system that didn't necessarily support us through and through. But yeah, we were known for going to everything and doing everything. Pieces I will shout out is TD alum, college student personnel alum, HDF twice over, and of course, leadership development minor. Y'all got me on a fun fact, whitewater rafting. It's not fun fact, fun? Yeah, so that's a fun fact that nobody who knows me, everybody who knows me would be like, you got on what and did what? But
in Maine.
In snow.
In snow.
There were 4 feet of snow and y'all got me on a boat. We won't even go there. But it was worth it, and I think what I wanted to say is that question around vocation, and that what I took your question as to be, like, for me, it has been coming up a lot. So I continuously ask myself, like, why am I here? To the point of why am I sitting on the panel today? So, because, y'all, I lived 3 lives before even getting here. So I say that to say, my fun fact is I will always ask you the deep question. So if you don't want to go deep, please don't have a conversation, because I'm a true introvert and I don't do small talk.
Yes. Thank you. So now you know. All right. Listen closely. Here's your first question. There have been various feminist movements, including but not limited to the suffrage movement, women's liberation movement, and black feminism. What are your thoughts on the role that historically and intentionally underrepresented women play in any movement dedicated to women's equality? Who'd like to take that one on first? I'll pick someone.
I'll take it.
Go ahead, Carol.
Before I answer, I will say I was remiss for not mentioning that I was also a TD student, and I worked there for 12 years, and I worked here in the MSSC for 2. Sorry, forgot to say that. Joe will kill me if I don't say TD.
We don't judge.
Okay. So in any event, when we think about movements, think about where we are now at this moment in history. Think about the way women of color have always shown up. But I think our role has been so pivotal in that sort of folks are finally missing us now, because we have vowed to sort of sit this one out and let folks sort of fight on their own behalf. Because without the voices of black women, whether we're standing in the back and making things happen, or our bodies are in the front being the first to be assaulted, literally and figuratively, we have always moved the needle, always moved society forward, and we have oftentimes, most times, not been credited with the work that we have always done. My heart is really heavy right now because we are going through some very trying times, and I subscribe to that approach that we are going to sit this one out because we are tired. The reason you brought me to tears is because I am tired, but I am also inspired by our youth. So our young women, we we're patted on the back for our strength and all of these things, but we are also sensitive and we feel and we struggle. And in all of it, I think the thing that I think most about is I think people forget to see our humanity as women. And we have to remind folks that it is okay to be strong and to also pull back when we need to. As from a historical context, Anna, to answer the question, we have always been there. We have always had an impact, and we have always got it done.
Yes. Anyone else want to take that on, Shonda?
So one of the ways in which I resisted first of all, it takes a different type of labor to pursuing your doctorate. It's a very much white dominated space and a lot of intellectual hazing. So it's a different type of labor that I can't even describe. So I want to begin by saying that. One of the ways I was able to persevere was ask myself, how am I going to resist this program? Resist in ways that we're going to be healing and caring for myself. So they were like, hey, you got to write this dissertation and you got to cite literature. Before I chose literature by white women and white men, I dug. I researched, chose to intentionally cite research by women of color, particularly Black women at the intersectionality of their gender identity, political identity, sexual orientation. I say all this to say that I was citing Assata Shakur. I was citing Angela Davis, right? Kimberly Crenshaw. We talk about intersectionality. What I want to say is that women, particularly Black trans femme women, let me be clear, have always offered us a deeper, more nuanced analysis about the social issues we are confronting. So you cannot have a feminist movement led by white women if you're not considering racial identity, if you're not considering socioeconomic class. So the language that we have here, if you're not considering abolition and how the carceral state impacts our existence, right? So women have laid the foundation. Look at any research, right? Look at any movements that have existed. And I also add that young people that look like y'all have also led fights throughout history.
Yes, thank you. I'll give you all a minute to see if anyone else wants to. Second, what is the challenge that you've had to manage in your personal or professional trajectory, and how did you overcome it? Think of something as it relates to your womanhood or intersectionality, if you would. Go ahead, Michelle.
I grew up in Pawtucket, super Cape Verdean. So what it takes to, if I can, like I'm just gonna say it and then I'll modify it as we go. But to grow up in a Cape Verdean culture, you have to learn a certain way of being, like many cultures, right? Especially as a woman. And what may have earned me the right to speak in my Cape Verdean household was not earning me the right to speak in a committee. It's not the same form of communication. Right. I think the first time I got a whiff of that was in a residence hall where it was the first year we were in Butterfield and someone was playing their music loud. Now, to me, I'm like, that's every day on Lonsdale in Pawtucket, like that's every day. And then that person who was becoming a friend of mine at the time, because we were just starting our first year, was reprimanded by an RA. And I was like, oh, this is what college will look like. Because what was normal to me had become the outlier, thank you, in white spaces. But it was the precursor for what I would have to manage moving forward, because many of us who are leading in different spaces, who are resisting whatever form of institution or systemic oppression, whatever form of status quo, will have to navigate that. Because there are certain parts that when I go home, it's a very different version of me. Like if my mom knew I was sitting here, she'd be like, Kayla. So she would say, like, you of all people, because there's a certain level of like playing humble in culture, that it doesn't get you anywhere in a society that doesn't see your value to begin with, right? So there's a certain, and I heard this quote, and I'll leave you with this because I obviously have to share space here, but it's like, what I found to be my truest self will not actually lead me to be successful in white spaces so that I can advocate for those who are coming alongside me and behind me, generations behind me. And I think navigating that in my own leadership style has been and will continue to be a challenge, because you don't ever want to feel like I'm not the real me. And sometimes I had to learn, and very much approaching 40 and feeling like, girl, they don't have to see the real you. They don't deserve the real you to some extent. So navigating between those identities to know that to change the status quo, you will have a lot of tactics that you need to use, but some of the ways that I learned to be who I am for my culture doesn't actually lead me to be in the safest spaces, because those people don't understand it, or they might not value it the same way I do. So that's something that I've dealt with, but continue to deal with, because I do lead in an institution and on boards and committees that are primarily with people who don't come from communities like I did.
Thank you.
All right. Ooh, so much reflection. This is like my third panel in this month, because it's Women's History Month, right? There's so many things that's just like resonating. Being tired. This work will outlive. This is what I say to folks. My struggle will outlive me. I've lived many lives. A lot of my journey and my challenges have been rooted in so many of my identities, right? The intersectionalities of my identities, being an immigrant, coming here from El Salvador, seeing my parents work so hard, English being my second language, being a young mother, being broke, struggling, being burnt out, getting my master's in a white institution, becoming a teacher, getting pushed out, dealing with the microaggressions in the nonprofit world. There are so many to name that I am too tired, and I'm 44. But one thing that I'm also very proud of and can name in what I've learned in my struggles and my challenges is how, can I swear? No. How fucking resilient we are as people. As people who come from places, this is what I was just telling Shonda, we escaped war. Mm-hmm. My father started his own business as an immigrant. Why? Because he didn't like where he was working. I watched that, but I didn't know what was really going on. I'm like, he's just working. No, he was actually an entrepreneur for 30 years. And he died to this very last day working, serving undocumented folks in his community. It's in our DNA. We know how to innovate. We know how to survive. But one thing we also need to learn, and this is what I'm trying to unlearn, because this is unlearning part of it, is resting. It's being by the beach. It's reading. It's writing. It's sharing and passing down the knowledge to you young folks. Because y'all still have the energy. But I have high cholesterol. And I have to work out 4 days a week. And I can't eat. I was like just eating this food. And I'm like, ooh, I got to go to the gym tomorrow morning. So there are things that I've learned and have brought me to where I am today. And although there's been hardships and adversities that I've faced, I came out on top at the end. And I'm very, very proud of where I am today. And I'm very, very proud of the work that I've done today. And I know that even in this time that we are in right now, where we are being smacked in the face every single day, every second of the day, with an overload of information, we can do this. Our people have done this in the past and all throughout history. So that's my...
Thank you. Thank you very much. What has been the most rewarding component of being a woman in a position of leadership for you?
being in a position of leadership. No, that's the answer, being in a position of leadership. What is rewarding about sitting, I sit on a team where I'm the only, no, I'm one of two, no, I'm the only African American who sits at the level within my organization. We have some other people of color, but I'm the only one who identifies as African American. And I can tell you, it is rewarding, but it is also a responsibility. And so wherever I've been, it has always been both a gift that I have been, for whatever reason, God has put me in spaces where I have used the gifts given to me to sort of advance my career, but it also is a responsibility, and the reason why when Bobby so graciously and Victoria sent me all the reminders that I was invited to be here, it's important that we show up, because whenever, and maybe this is part of, Michelle, part of that humble beginnings that each of us comes from, that you have a responsibility to your community. And so the greatest, I think, part about any role that I've had, but particularly the one that I have now, where my role really is around ensuring that we are providing care, healthcare, quality healthcare to folks who are sort of the ones that they would by the wayside, the community folks who are underserved, right? Those on Medicare, Medicaid, or uninsured. I get to show up every day and make sure that their experience is one of quality, and that they are receiving health in an equitable fashion, and that we are doing everything that we can to ensure that people are given dignity as they seek care. And I have a responsibility to do that, as well as the young professionals who are looking to me for guidance, so such as yourselves, but even in my workplace, being a model and being a mentor. That's one of the greatest gifts of all the work that I have done. It has been to be here with you all.
I would say one of the biggest rewards of being in the position I'm in is being able to redesign and create what a nonprofit looks like, what policies look like. So everything that I experienced in my professional journey, I made sure that my employees and my team members would not experience the same thing. I'll give you an example. Last year, was it last year? I think it was last year, we decided to take 1 month off. And we're like, we need to rest and we need to do this. And I remember asking my co-founder, can we do this? Yeah, who's gonna stop us? So we did it, and we learned a lot from it. And so we took 1 month off, the month of July, and everybody basically got to rest and really do what they want to do, and everybody still got paid. So having the autonomy to think outside the box is something that I've really enjoyed in my position.
One thing I'd add, because I agree with what my fellow panelists are saying, is that I have come to respect feminine leadership, because every time you walk into a room and you're like one of the few women in the room, you're like, hey, you don't gotta talk to me like that, because you wouldn't talk to me like that in like Stop and Shop. Like, why are we acting like bringing masculine energy to the table? That has, in my opinion, has never gotten us to a solution that's the best solution the fastest. And so I think I've seen some leaders, especially in healthcare, because of the nature of maybe their roles, that you show up differently. That has been a new version of leadership that I look forward to embodying. Is to embody feminine energy, because that is creativity, that is innovation, that is what other nations have been able to create opportunity within their nations globally. So I think that's the one energy that has come as I've gotten into a higher level of leadership, that I say, well, it doesn't have to look that way. Like, we can do it differently. And I think from that feminine energy that I bring to the table, I don't have to present with everything blazing hot, right? Because I know I can go there. We know we can go there. We've gone there in the past. So I can show up as my true self and be kind and be loving and be joyful. And then if we go there, we go there. But we don't have to start there. And I think that's the unlearning process of maybe what we've learned in a like white supremacist environment that it has to be led this way, it has to look this way. This is how masculine energy shows up.
I just want to reiterate what she said, but we can go there if you prompt that. Just clarifying. Okay. What advice would you give young women who are aiming to thrive in our current political climate?
Strap up in any form, however that applies to you. We are in some unprecedented times, and as a person who has, anyone on this panel and many of folks in the audience who know me, my whole identity is sort of enveloped with a fighting spirit. And it is part of, I think anyone who knows me, they will tell you that. She's funny, but she's something else. Don't make her mad, or don't give her a cause. So strap up, because these are very, very difficult times. And as young people, we need you all to educate yourselves. We need you all to know your rights, know the rights of your community members, know the rights of our society. Educate yourselves even outside of the classroom. Make it your point to know more. Because, listen, we need some young folks out here who's going to willing to stand up and stand with, alongside, because the dismantling of society as we know it is happening in real time. And I'm not saying that to scare anyone. I'm saying it to embolden you and to hopefully encourage you to know that, where we end up as a society, some of it is out of our control. Much of it we can contribute to, and we can affect. So empower yourselves, educate yourselves, and don't let the powers that be instill fear in you. Because if you are afraid, then they've already won.
I just have two things. One, I'm interested in knowing what y'all feel like you need to be doing. But the second one, I have a 19-year-old, and I had a talk with him, and I told him, I need you to be a very responsible in how you take in information. So whatever you're scrolling, whatever you're looking at, I'm like, I need you to find the source. And you cannot tell me or give me statements that are based on what you've seen on a TikTok reel or just an Instagram reel. So I need y'all to really know and question and develop a critical analysis about everything that you're consuming every single day. And make sure you take breaks, because your brain is actually cognitively, we're not made. I mean, maybe we will in the next 20, 30 years, I don't know, because of the shift in our culture to actually take in all that information every day.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually push back on that question with the word thrive. I would push back. I think one of the things that I'm learning is that in this political climate, the question should be around, how are you sustaining the work? How are you sustaining yourself? And you have to commit to a level of increased social consciousness, which in y'all's term is woke, right? So for us in our particular Arise space, our youth have been in the forefront of ethnic studies campaign, police-free schools. We sued the governor of Rhode Island. We are in Cook versus Raimondo. Our young people who are actually on your campuses now were the plaintiffs for that. Mm-hmm. Cook versus Raimondo. The reason why there is a law that requires students in Rhode Island to take a civics education class is because of young people that look like y'all. Mm-hmm. So the way that you sustain is you continue to defend your civil liberties because they are under attack. Our youth organizers was just at a press conference, 2 of them, providing testimony on the Freedom to Read Act. Does anybody here know what the Freedom to Read Act is? Thank you, Sarah. Right? there have been attacks, book burnings, attacks on libraries, librarians, school libraries, policing the knowledge that y'all have access to. And I'm not talking about it's policing at the intersection of LGBTQI plus identities. It's policing of the history of the racialized US, policing of learning of enslavement, right? Like policing of economic justice at the intersection of environmental justice, right? So this is information that is critical to build your level of social consciousness. So then you ask yourself, the most important step is knowledge is not power at all. Knowledge is only power when you do some shit with it. So understand there could be seeds planted for you, but be willing to critically analyze and also push back. Push back and question the shit that you're absorbing. I'm telling my 16-year-old daughter that all the time. My 6-year-old, I mean, y'all humans have seen what I posted. My 6-year-old is a very conscious 6-year-old, but he's also very empathetic. Empathetic. And I'm raising a black boy to one day, defy all the ways patriarchy harms us women.
Thank you so much. So our panelist has dropped you some nuggets. Hopefully you've been able to digest some of that. We have about 10 minutes left. So I'd like to know raise your hand if you have a specific question that you'd like to ask. I want to take it from our students who are here first, and then I'll pick on those that have some other thoughtful questions or comments. Does anyone have a question for our panel that they'd like to ask? If you could stand up and give us your name and then ask your question loudly, please. Oh.
Hi, my name's Lords. So going back to what you were mentioning about educating ourselves, I had the privilege to go to a private school in Providence where, an all-girls school where learning about feminism and intersectionality was actually pretty big within my education. Coming into university, I realized very quickly that that wasn't something that was universally taught everywhere. So for people who are not like me and didn't have the exposure within their education, where would you recommend that people start in terms of educating themselves with more like academic texts as well? I know a couple of you mentioned some notable figures, like notable women in our history. So I would just want, that's my question, is where would you recommend that young people start in educating themselves about intersectionality and women empowerment?
I want to speak to that first before I let our panel go, but remember, you attend a liberal arts school. You all have electives that you have to take. She's nodding her head. Christy here teaches 3 dope classes that you could take, a sociology class, an education class on social justice. You can take any one of her classes and she's gonna teach you about feminism, the intersectionality, the politics, the patriarchy, all of those things. We have an entire subject matter in the gender and women's studies. Any one of those courses can support and assist you. It doesn't mean you just randomly pick, but look at what the course descriptions are, look at what they're reading, look at some of the information. Ask one of those advisors who you go see to help you schedule classes if they can give you a copy of the previous syllabus. Like Shonda was saying, that's the pushback piece. Don't just settle for like, oh, you want me to take this History 100 level class? No, what are they gonna teach me in that class? Do you have a syllabus? Can I look at it? What are they reading? You don't have to sit there and just be told you have to take this class. Oh, take this as an elective. No, I wanna look, I wanna audit and see what they're going to teach me because I wanna learn more about what's really going on or how I can use this education. Thoughts? Go ahead, Michelle.
I would say that everything that you just said. And if you're identifying people in your circle that you're like, yeah, because that was strategically done. It didn't just happen that that's happening to women right now. It's not just that it's now happening to black folks. It's not just happening to blah, blah, blah. I would, as a peer, educate folks because it doesn't become real for people. So as a former director of a multicultural center, there's a connection between what's fun, what has food, and what can I instill in the program so that they are encouraged to then move on to look into it. Because to me, I feel like if I'm thinking about my younger self in a culture that was like, yeah, you raise families, you do all of that, so you're a leader in that way, I found solace in like asking my mother and my grandmother about their journey to this country. Like the older I get, even when I was younger, I think that's where you start with like women's history that makes it palpable for people to say like, my grandmother came here with 9 children from Cape Verde. There's no version of feminism or leadership that anyone else can teach me that she couldn't teach me, right?
Amen.
And so I think there's a version of this that says, yes, look into classes, but if I'm thinking about me until I was in the leadership minor, and I didn't even take Rose Butler Brown, when I taught the Rose Butler Brown class, that's when I really embodied that, because the mix between the application of what's happening in real life and how it shows up for us, people will not know how to look for information until they're triggered by, why is this happening? But we've lived it, and our elders have lived it. So I look to my elders to say, I have 3 kids. I had 3 kids under 3 years old, back to back. My grandmother's the only one who could tell me how to thrive as a mother of young children. So yeah, I could go on Instagram, but then she's gonna say, why waste your time on these things? When I had kids, this is what you could do. You've made it further than me. So I'm of the fact that like, go to your community, and then that will prompt people to pick up a book, to pick up a class, to talk to mentors. Because if it wasn't for people like Anna and Carol and Melissa, like I wouldn't have even taken a class, because what's the point if nobody who came before me did that?
Thank you. And shout out the Rose Butler Brown class. For those of you that don't know, Melissa, Kamba, Kelsey, and myself are currently co-teaching that class, and it's offered in the spring, and it's an elective, and it also counts to 3 different subject matters, is that right? 2, leadership and gender and women's studies. Okay. Other questions? We have a couple more minutes. Sarah, did you want to ask your question? Oh, go ahead. This young lady right here.
Hello, I'm Sophia. Many of you mentioned that you were mothers. How was it like exploring motherhood while still being resilient and independent, like while attaining your higher education degrees and like careers? What was that experience like?
I can actually, I think the question was rooted in motherhood and how we have been able to balance and what that looked like. Okay. So I met my husband at URI. He played ball for URI, the Womack last name. And if it were not for my husband, and I think one of the questions was around how could our men be in, the term I think was allyship. Well, my husband was a co-conspirator, I would say. And if it were not for him, I wouldn't have been able to pursue my master's, because I had my daughter who's now 16. And when I looked at him, I said, like 4 years ago, I was like, yo, I'm gonna go get my doctorate. And he was like, why do you like these people's schools? That's how he talks. But I was the executive director of this education justice organization. I had 2 kids. If it were not for my husband co-conspirating with me, I would not have obtained these degrees. Does it feel any different? No. These 3 extra letters do not feel any different. You know why? Because I was already doing this shit before these 3 letters, right? I want to say that it is hard. It's hard, but you need your community and you need your village. America will tell you that we are an individualistic society. That is their ideology. Part of pushing back on that is reclaiming your indigenous ideologies. So for me, for the past few years, I have been saying, wow, what can my ancestors offer me? What did my mom teach me about what it means to be resilient? And resiliency has been co-opted. Like, shit, we're tired. And I don't need to be resilient all 24/7. Just because I'm operating like superwoman, the circumstances calls me to do that. But that is not my norm. I've had to check my kids. I've had to check my husband. I want to also say, tap into what I call my movement brothers and my movement husbands in this space. Like, I want to turn to Bobby and say to him, like, he has been a youth support system. Bobby embodies what it means to be in co-conspiratorship around our fight for feminism at the intersection, all these other social justice woes. Right? So I say, lean into your community, right? And don't do all the pouring. Shoot, let somebody pour into you. And trust me, I've only been practicing that for a good 2.5 years.
To piggyback on that last comment, you can't pour out of an empty vessel. Think about that. If you are operating on empty, you can't pour into anyone else. So, and those of you that love to quote the good book doesn't say that you pour into others until your cup is empty. It means that you are overflowing to pour. So read that scripture again.
Can I just add
Carol?
one thing too? I just want to give you sort of a tangible sort of perspective in what I'll give you my experience, right? Because that's all I can give you. I started my master's degree. My daughter was 4. She was 4. And at that point, I was recently divorced, so I was a single mom of a 4-year-old. And then I remarried, and several years went by. And when my daughter was 12, I decided I was going to go back and get my doctorate degree. And she had siblings at that point who were younger than her. And so that feminine side, that mother side, was really sort of, there was this sort of, I felt like I was being pulled in 2 different directions, right? Had always been told, pursue your career. You are more than, a mother. But I'm the youngest of 6 children. I watched my mother do a damn good job raising 6 kids, and I wanted that too, right? And so when she was 12, I took my first semester in doctoral school, and it was heartbreaking. I didn't fail out. I received and earned great grades. But my daughter said, "Mom, you keep missing my basketball games on Saturday," because it was an executive program. And so the guilt that I felt and the disappointment in myself that I felt, and just sort of the sorrow that I felt for missing out, right? I didn't want, you get to be a mother, they come by this time, once in a lifetime, right? And then when they're adults, you don't get that time back. So I'm saying that it is okay for you to have it all, but do it according to your own plan. What works and feels good to you. And don't let anyone dictate to you or somehow slight your empowerment by saying, "Oh, you're not finishing your degree." No, because you know what? I'm a mother. And that is my first job. It is my greatest responsibility. It is my greatest source of pride and joy. So I say that because everyone's journey is going to be what it is, but let your journey be your own, and don't let anyone dictate for you what that is supposed to look like. That is empowerment. Telling people to bump off, none of your business. I'll get there when I get there, and I got there.
Yes, add one thing, because you took what I was thinking. No, don't be sorry. Because as we're sitting here and what you were asking about movements and women and, our rights and being a mother, all of this comes at a cost. There is a cost to this. So as great as we might sound and strong and all that, there is a cost that we carry, and especially, I can speak for myself as a mom, there are moments where I have a lot of reflection time, and I am so sorry to my children because I haven't been the best that I thought I could be, and that's okay too. So that cost, it's a heavy cost, so be willing to pay.
I want to thank our panelists this afternoon, Dr. Carolyn Oliveira, Carla Vigil, Dr. Shonda Womack, Dr. Michelle T. Rosa, that doesn't deliver babies, remember, she's the other doctor. Thank you so much for giving back to your university, to making yourself available, which is what they've done. And I hope you heard what each of them said in terms of like they are coming here to be available to you. Hear that, feel that, use that. So thank you all very much. We are greatly appreciative of your presence here today. Thank you all for being here and being present. We appreciate you as well. I'm going to turn it back to our hosts, Victoria.
I think we should just clap one more time for our amazing panelists and our moderator. Thank you so much for taking the time on your busy schedules to join us today. I know I got a lot out of our conversation, and I hope our students did too. So that brings us to the conclusion of our program today. Thank you all for coming. We truly enjoyed sharing the space together. And please don't forget to do the feedback form. I have some QR codes and some physical copies over here, so we can keep putting on amazing events like this. Thank you.
On your way out, please register for the Rose Butler Brown Women of Color Conference that's next Saturday. Thank you. Yes, Kamba, next Saturday.
I said that too.
My name is Aganza. I'm an artist. I'm a graduate. I graduated in 2015, and I